Welcome to the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I'm Morgan, and I'm thrilled to be your host and wellness coach as we navigate the path to a healthier, more confident you. As the owner of Get Fit With Me, I bring years of experience in personal training, nutrition, and coaching to each episode. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and more, all tailored for busy women just like you. Let's empower your wellness journey and achieve lasting transformation together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. Happy New Year. It's 2026, and I don't know about you, but last week and this week, I've been going to the gym. I've been going to the gym prior to the new year, but I've been going to the gym more consistently, and I have really started to see an influx of people, which in the past, myself, and I know those of us who go on a regular basis, can kind of get frustrated when all of a sudden the gym becomes really, really busy. And you're like, really? You're just now starting? Like, you're taking over my machine. All that frustration comes in. And that used to be how I was way back years and years ago. And now when I go in, I'm excited. I'm so happy to see how many people have decided to show up for themselves. Yes, it's the new year. And yes, they were waiting on that motivation. But at the same time, that doesn't matter. They've decided to show up. And I love seeing how many people are doing that. So if you are somebody who is feeling really annoyed with the gym busyness right now, take a deep breath. Be excited for them. At one point, you were in their position. It might not have been at the new year, but at one point, you were in that position. And others around you, we want to lift each other up. We want to celebrate each other. Say, hey, great job. Oh, hey, do you have any questions? Like, we want to be there for each other because there is such a small percentage of people that actually work out, So the fact that even if it's the new year, and we all know that there is a steady decline that happens, if at some point in that year that person is getting out there to move their body, we need to cheer them on. The goal is that it stays that busy all year round. I would love for the gyms to be that busy all year round. Yes, it would kind of be a pain in the ass because the gym would be busy, but that right there to me knows people are showing up for themselves, they're taking care of themselves, and they're putting their health first, which I think is so important, especially as we move into the new year. And we just move into another year of life. Every year of life, we should be able to get a little bit stronger, get a little bit healthier, make small changes. The one thing that does happen, though, like I said, is everybody comes in and we're all gung-ho. And it is the time of 0 to 100 mindset. And you have the people who are in there and they show up for day one and they push it way too hard. And then you don't see them anymore. Or you have the person who shows up every single day for the first 2 weeks. And then they've burned themselves out. Or you see that person who comes a couple times a week, who is slowly moving into their workouts, and you see them for a while. Maybe you see them for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Maybe you see them for the rest of your time going to the gym. There is a way to gradually add stretching, strength, and cardio into our life that is manageable, that makes us want to keep doing it. And the new year is a really good time for our brain to say, nope, 0 to 100, new year, new me, do all the things. It's not a new you. It's a better you. It's a healthier you. It's a you that is showing up for yourself. So I want to talk about first deciding it is the new year and we are a couple days in. What have you done these last couple days? Have you gone to 0 to 100? Have you not done anything? Are you somewhere in the middle? If you are somebody who has taken it 0 to 100, I'm going to caution you to just take a deep breath and to slow down a bit. For those of you who haven't done anything because you're too afraid, because you've been on that hamster wheel and that cycle of, oh, I haven't been successful in the past. I make it 2 weeks and I fall off. Like, if you are that person, you haven't taken any steps. I also want you to open up your ears and I want you to listen. Because just because you haven't been successful in the past doesn't mean you won't be successful in the future. We just have to change our strategy and the way that we are showing up. So the first thing we need to do before we go 0 to 100 or we take any action at all, is you've heard me talk about some of these steps before, but they're just really good reminders when there's all this noise around us pushing us to go because everybody's doing it. Let's lean into that and let's take advantage of it, but let's do it at our pace in a way that works for us. So, first thing, stretching, strength, and cardio. Those are 3 areas of fitness that I really want you to focus on in the new year. For some of you, you may be ready to add all of them because you've been doing a little bit of all of them. For some of you, you've only been doing cardio and you're going to choose just one other area. Maybe you're doing none of them. But what I want you to think about is these 3 groups. We have stretching, cardio, and strength. Our body needs all of them. We need stretching and mobility and flexibility to keep our joints and our muscles nice and loose and limber. We need cardio for our heart, as a lot of other benefits. And then we also need that strength training for that bone density, for that muscle mass, so that as we age, we can continue to stay strong. So I first want you to answer this question. Which one of those 3 are you already doing consistently? And this could be consistently once a week. This could be consistently every day. Just depends on what it is. Are you consistently stretching every day? Are you consistently going to the gym to lift weights once a week? Are you consistently going out to walk or run once a week or a couple times a week? What are you consistently doing already? Make note of that. And pat yourself on the back for consistently doing one of those 3 actions. Then what we want to do is we want to think, okay, I am consistently doing this. Now, do I have time to add something? So that's the first question. It's the new year and we try to rearrange our schedules and we try to give us these really high expectations of I need to go to gym 5 days a week. It needs to be a 30-minute workout. I need to make sure I've got cardio and strength and I take a yoga class. When in reality, if you look at your freaking calendar, there's probably no time for any of that. I don't know about you, but like January doesn't really slow down for me. A lot of times winter are like hibernation months. Summer is my slower time. Summer is when I like to rest and recover. Winter is when I go faster and I push harder because that, to me, it's hibernation. I don't like the winter. I don't like the cold months very much. So my winter is typically busier. That being said, that's not the time that I'm going to decide, well, I'm going to commit to a once a week yoga class that's 90 minutes long. I don't have time for that. I would prefer to commit to a 10-minute daily stretch that I can do any place, anytime, anywhere, whenever I have a moment, instead of roping myself into a class that I have signed up for and I have to show up for every single Friday at 8 a.m. when life just doesn't allow that. So once you've figured out what you've been consistent with, we then have to look at, do we even have time to add something else into our life? And yes, time is all about priorities, where we choose to spend our time, what we find important in our life. There's a whole deep dive. We can go into that at a different time. But right now, I want you to just open up your calendar and say, do I have time for an additional workout this week? You may say, heck yeah, I got lots of time that I've just kind of been postponing and putting it off because I haven't felt motivated. Or maybe you look and you're like, this is not the season to add more. This is the season to be consistent. And if I'm going to add more, it's going to be very, very little. It's not going to be a full hour workout. It's going to be 10 minutes of stretching. What season are you in and what does life look like? What does time look like for you? We have to take that into account. A lot of times we don't. We just create all these goals and expectations and then we show up and we fail and we burn ourselves out. And we don't do the thing. Yeah, of course. Because we don't actually have the time. Or you're like, I have the time, but it requires me to get up at 5 a.m. And you know you're not a morning person. You've tried for years. That's okay. We need to find the time when it actually works in the schedule when you're actually going to be able to do it, instead of scheduling it when you know you're not going to do it. So once you figure out what you've consistently been doing and you've been successful at, stretching, cardio, strength, all of them, one of them, 2 of them, doesn't matter. Then we have to think about, what do we have time to add, if anything? And if we do, what does that time frame actually look like? Is it an actual long workout or is it micro movements throughout our day? What does that look like? And then once we know what that time frame looks like, that is when we can decide, am I going to add a little bit more cardio? Am I going to add a little bit more strength? Am I going to add a little bit of stretching? And how we determine that is we look at what we've consistently been doing, and then we have to think about that end goal. If your end goal is to lose weight, you do need strength training and cardio. You need them both. But you do also need stretching, because as our body shapes and changes, we can lose flexibility and mobility, which then makes cardio more challenging. It also makes strength training more challenging. If all of a sudden you've built muscle in places and you're not as flexible as you once were, you may be able to squat more, but your depth might not be there. Also, as we are building muscle, stretching helps relax those muscles so that we don't feel as sore, so we recover faster. So they all build hand in hand. So when we think about our time and we think about what we can put in, we kind of have to be strategic on if you're already consistently lifting 3 days a week, wonderful. I would say your next piece is getting into a daily stretch routine. 5-10 minutes, right when you wake up in the morning, mid-afternoon, or right before bed. I don't care when, but the more consistent you can be in the time of day to do that daily stretching, the better off you're going to be. Stretching is something we should be doing every day. It can be something as simple as I's to W's as we are sitting in our chair at our desk. It can be as simple as a seated hip stretch or a seated hamstring stretch, all the way to doing world's best stretch on the ground and child's pose and happy baby and all of that. It's going to look different depending on what your body feels like, what your day looks like, and when you are planning it. But if you're somebody who has consistently been doing strength or cardio, I want you to implement stretching on a daily basis. If you've been somebody who's been doing stretching and you're like, I've been rocking the stretching, like that is where I've been doing really great at. Okay. If you have mastered stretching, you've got that down, you've got that in your routine a couple times a week, maybe even every day for a small amount of time, whatever that looks like. The next thing that I want you to add is strength training, because we are women. And as we age, we are bound to lose muscle mass if we do not focus on gaining it. And that comes from strength training. Yes, we will gain some of it through cardio. But us as women are programmed to be cardio bunnies, to avoid carbs. There's so much noise when it comes to making us as small as possible that, yeah, cardio is great. I want you to walk. I want you to be more active during your day. I would rather have you spend your workout time strength training instead of going to the gym and walking on the treadmill for an hour. Go lift weights for an hour and then just be more active throughout your day. Set a timer for every 90 minutes. Get up and walk around the house. Go do a loop around the office, wherever you are. I would rather have you have more focused strength training time and more activity just throughout your day. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to build strength. You're going to have your stretching and your mobility work in there. And then the more active you are throughout your day, the less you are categorized as that sedentary individual, which most of us are. I can go do an hour workout, but if I then sit on my butt the other 9 to 10 hours of the day, I am considered a sedentary individual. Whereas if I work out and then I am actively moving every couple hours for 5-7 minutes, I no longer am a sedentary individual because I'm being active throughout my day. So it's really important that we have our workouts and we have our time and being really resourceful with that time. If you've only got an hour, I want you to strength train. And then we can figure out those little 1 or 2 minutes, 5 to 7 minute blocks throughout the day where you can do some walking, where you can do some stretching. Those are easier to do in smaller bits than strength training is. That's not to say you can't do strength training in 5 to 7 minutes. We do AMRAPs all the time, but I find that there is more mental blockages with clients when I'm like, okay, do this 5-minute AMRAP. There's something about that strength training that for most of my clients are like, no, nope, I'd rather just pace around the house, or I'd rather stretch than lift weights for 5 to 7 minutes. So that being said, and speaking from experience, it is much easier for me to go and walk. There's something more mindless about it. If I'm going to go lift, I am going to lift, whether it's in the basement or it's at Planet Fitness, wherever that may be. I'm going and I'm being intentional about it. My walking, I don't have to have all the brain power. I don't have to decide how I'm going to walk. No, my body just does it. I just have to make the choice to walk. Kind of the same with stretching. We all have a few stretches we've done our entire life. It's always great to have a good library of stretches, but if you just have a few go-to that you know make your body feel good, you have less decisions to make. And following a program, which we will dive into in the upcoming weeks, and the importance of following a strength program helps take that decision fatigue out of it. But for now, we're not even there. We're focusing on moving our body in a realistic way that works for our calendar, that works for our schedule, that makes us feel good, that helps us get us to that goal without feeling burned out, or that doesn't allow us to be super sore or not able to walk the next day where we don't want to come back to the gym. I want to see every single one of you who has decided to go to the gym because it's the new year and you want to work on yourself and you want to be the healthiest version of yourself this year. I want to see you going all year round. I don't want to see you only until January 14th or February 20th or March 6th. I want to see you every single week for the entire year. Whether that's 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever your schedule looks like. I want you to show up for you. And by doing that, the only way you can do that is by starting off slow, is by starting off by making these small little changes, by adding something in a little bit each day. Just a little bit here, just a little bit there. Putting it on your calendar and keeping your word to yourself and showing up for yourself. So, that being said, think about what you are already consistently doing. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a high five. You are consistently doing movement. Then figure out, what do you actually have time for? And then what's that time that you have? What are you going to put in there? Make that decision. Start small and grow on it. And we're doing the same thing in our cooking club. So just last week, we launched our Morgan's Cooking Club, which I'm super excited for. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing on a monthly basis with meals and recipes and cooking together. Is I'm not going to teach you how to be a professional chef. No, I'm not a professional chef. But do I know how to make meals that make me feel good, that are flavorful, that multiple people in my life like, not just Mike, but my nanny family, my parents, all of that? Yes. But it takes time and it takes learning new skills little by little every single month. Every single time you show up and you practice, you get a little bit better. Same thing goes in our strength, in our cardio. Some moves feel so uncomfortable. When I'm strength training and I'm trying out a new move, my balance is off. I feel awkward. I feel uncomfortable. Most people won't do it because they don't want to look silly. Look silly. I can't tell you how many times I have cooked something and I've been like, this is a weird combo. And I got done and I was like, that one was pretty good. Or, yeah, that one wasn't very good. We're going to eat the pieces that taste good and the things that don't. It was learning, slow learning and practicing every single day. So, like I said, the cooking club is open for enrollment. There's a link in the show notes that you can go and check out. The first 20 people who sign up will get the cooking club for $17 a month. It includes one virtual cooking class a month, a grocery list to go along with that. It also includes 3 to 5 other recipes and tips, as well as a community for us to share recipes back and forth for the entire month. Because I don't know about you, but I have so many recipes that I like to try out. And I'm like, oh, this one was really good and I want to share it. But then there's ones where I was like, hey, this one's really bad. I don't recommend. Or sometimes I just want to be like, hey, I'm looking for a good meatloaf recipe tonight. Does somebody have one that works for them that you've tried that's good? I wanted a group of people, and every single woman I talked to that wanted this, they wanted a community of women who can cook together, who can pour some wine, we can laugh, and we can cook dinner, we can cook brunch, we can prep for the week. Every single month, that live cooking class is going to change day and time because I know not everybody's schedule is going to work for everything. But every single month, at the start of the month, you will know when the cooking class is. You will get your recipe and your grocery list. And then throughout the month, we'll have the cooking class. I'll give you 3 to 5 more recipes, and we will also be sharing a bunch of tips and tricks and hacks that I have for in the kitchen that honestly, like I said, I didn't learn right away. It has taken that slow 0 to 10 to 20 to 30, all the way up to 100. And I'm not even at 100 yet. So instead of rushing from 0 to 100, thinking that I have to be the perfect cook right away, absolutely not. I am taking it slow, nice and easy, nice and steady, and we're making it fun along the way. So the biggest thing I want you to take away from today is whether it's in the kitchen or it's in the gym, I do not want you to be burned out by January 14th. So many of us are going to be. I want to see you showing up, cooking in your kitchen all year long on a regular basis, not just when you feel like it. I want to see you showing up in the gym, working out, getting stronger on a regular basis all year long, not just this year, but past this year. If we can focus on just this year, on just this month, and then the next month, from there, we're going to build these slow habits that allow us to actually be successful and see progress. And that's going to keep us going. So I challenge you, if you are somebody who has decided to head to the gym and you're going a little too fast, just like you have in the past, or you're somebody who's sitting on the couch because you've seen yourself fall off that hamster wheel in the past, don't do that. Don't stay on the couch. Don't go too fast at the gym. Go back to the things I talked about at the start of this episode. Make a plan for yourself that is successful, that is going to be slow and steady. I know it's frustrating. Slow and steady wins the race. I promise you. Okay, until next time, I will see you all next Thursday. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to the Empower Her Wellness podcast. I hope you found today's episode inspiring and packed with actionable tips. Remember, your journey to becoming the strongest, most confident version of yourself is just beginning. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and join our community of empowered women. Until next time, stay strong and stay confident.